Alright, just a quick job I thought I'd address now while all the suspension is still out of the car. And that's dealing with these fuel lines and brake lines. So they're not rusted, they're actually in pretty good condition, apart from being tarnished over the last 40 years. So I figured I can bust out the wire brush and all the cutting compound and steel polish, and I reckon I could shine these brake lines and fuel lines up pretty good. And the other thing I was thinking of doing is this fourth line here, which is the vent line for the tank. I'm not using this anymore. It's only a 1/4 inch. Now, I do plan on putting a V8 in this thing, and that standard 5/16 line is definitely not going to be enough to supply the fuel needs of a V8. So I'm going to try and take this old vent line to one of my subcontractors at work and see if they can bend me up an exact copy, but in either 3/8 or 1/2 inch diameter Bundy tube. That way it can be bolted with the whole rack of lines under the car capped off, and when I put a V8 in it, I've already got my supply line ready to go. But anyway, let's bust out the polisher for now and see what we can do. Alright, and here we are. It's the final result after about maybe 1 hour's work. I don't think it come up too bad at all. It's not perfect, but, you know, I reckon it's pretty shiny. And, I think it's time we'll just give it a bit of a clear coat. And, yeah, get stuck into the other one. Alright, here's the final result after about a weekend worth of polishing. And I have no fingerprints left. This was probably total about 4, 5, maybe 6 hours worth of work. But look how good they came up. I even cleaned up all the brackets, gave them a paint, cleaned up all the old rubber bushes as well. Can't put it in yet as I'm still waiting on that fuel line from my workmate. So I guess it's time we have a look at the handbrake assembly, because that's looking a bit tired and that could use a bit of a scrub and a bit of a paint. So let's check it out. Next round of parts to clean up is all this equipment for the handbrake. So let's get to scrubbing it. And here's the final result after about 3 hours worth of work. Gave it a bit of a scrub, painted up all the tarnished rods and levers, and I polished up all the nuts and bolts. Ready to go back in the car. Alright, let's put it together. Alright, well, it's been probably a month, maybe even a month and a half since I finally got this fuel line back, which I had bent up in 3/8 Bundy tube. And it's come up okay. It is a lot harder to replicate the factory bends with how tight they are and getting this tighter radius. That's only 5/16 line, and this 3/8 line is a lot thicker and a lot larger. It's harder to get the exact same bends in. It come up okay. I'm not happy about this one bend here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's got quite the kink in the hose, which is funny because that's actually a pretty mild bend there, so I don't know what happened there. So that could cause a restriction in the fuel flow, but we'll fit it up. I'll see what it looks like in the car. Then I'll have to take it back off, take it back to my subby, and he can braze on or weld on the AN fittings to either end, and then chop that side down to the correct size. So yeah, let's get it fitted and see what it looks like. Alright, so another job done. As you can see, I decided to terminate the 3A fuel line a little bit earlier because it was just too hard to bend it the rest of the way. So I'll just run a braided line from there to the back of the fuel pump, which would sit somewhere in this position. Yeah, got the rear brake lines on as well. Got all that fitted. It's another job done. Alright guys, thanks for watching.